Robert Louis Stevenson. Treasure Island. Chapter 28. In the enemy's camp. The red light of the torch lit the inside of the blockhouse and showed me my worst fears were true. The pirates had taken the house and the supplies. There was the barrel of cognac, and there were the pork and bread, just as before. And what made me even more afraid, there was no sign of any prisoners. I could only think that everyone had died, and I felt very bad that I had not been there to die with them. There were 6 pirates in total. No other man was alive. 5 of them were standing, their faces red and swollen, just woken from a deep, drunken sleep. The 6th man had only lifted himself on one arm. He was very pale, and the blood-stained bandage around his head showed that he had been wounded recently and treated not long ago. I remembered the man who had been shot and had run back into the woods during the big attack, and I believed this was the same man. The parrot sat on Long John's shoulder, cleaning her feathers. He himself looked a little paler and more serious than I had seen before. He still wore the fine suit he had worn before, but it was now very dirty, covered with mud and torn by the sharp bushes in the forest. "So," he said, "here's Jim Hawkins, shiver my timbers. You came here, eh? Well, I take that as friendly." Then he sat on the brandy barrel and began to fill his pipe. "Give me a light, Dick," he said. Then, when he had a good flame, "That will do, lad," he added. "Put the light in the woodpile. And you, gentlemen, wake up. You don't need to stand for Mr. Hawkins. He will excuse you, I'm sure. And so, Jim," he stopped the tobacco, "here you are. A nice surprise for old John. I saw you were clever when I first met you, but this surprises me completely." I said nothing to all this. They had put me with my back against the wall, and I stood there, looking at Silver's face. I tried to look brave, I hope, but inside I felt deep despair. Silver took a few puffs from his pipe calmly, and then continued. "Now listen, Jim," he said. "Since you are here, I will tell you what I think. I have always liked you. You are a brave boy, and you remind me of myself when I was young and handsome. I always wanted you to join us, take your share, and die like a gentleman. And now, my boy, you must do it. Captain Smollett is a good sailor, I admit that, but he is strict. Duty is duty, he says, and he is right. But you should stay away from the captain. The doctor is also angry with you. He called you an ungrateful boy. And the truth is this: you cannot go back to your own people, because they will not accept you. And unless you start your own crew alone, which would be very lonely, you will have to join Captain Silver." So far, this was good. My friends were still alive. I partly believed what Silver said, that they were angry with me for leaving them. But I felt more relieved than upset by what I heard. "I don't say anything about you being in our hands," continued Silver. "But that's how it is, and you can be sure of it. I like talking things out. I never saw anything good come from threats. If you like our side, then you will join. And if you don't, Jim, you are free to say no. Free and welcome, my friend. And if a sailor can say anything fairer, I'd like to hear it." "Do I have to answer now?" I asked with a very shaky voice. During all this mocking talk, I felt the danger of death above me. My cheeks were hot, and my heart was beating hard in my chest. "Boy," said Silver, "no one is forcing you. Take your time. None of us will hurry you. Time passes nicely when you are here with us." "Well," I said, becoming a little braver, "if I must choose, I think I have the right to know what is happening, why you are here, and where my friends are." "What is happening?" repeated one of the pirates in a low, angry voice. "Ah," Someone would be lucky to know that. Maybe you should keep quiet until you are spoken to, my friend, shouted Silver angrily at him. Then, in his usual calm voice, he spoke to me again. Yesterday morning, Mr. Hawkins, he said, during the evening watch, Dr. Livesey came down with a white flag. He said, "Captain Silver, you have lost. The ship is gone." Well, maybe we had been drinking and singing a bit. I won't say no. Anyway, none of us had been watching. We looked out, and by thunder, the ship was gone. I have never seen such foolish faces, and you can believe me when I say mine was the most foolish. "Well," said the doctor, "let's make a deal." So we made a deal, he and I, and here we are. Supplies, brandy, the blockhouse, the firewood you kindly cut, and, in a way, the whole ship, from top to bottom. As for your friends, they have gone away. I don't know where they are. He calmly took another puff from his pipe. And so that you don't think you were part of the deal, he continued. These were the last words he said. "How many of you will stay?" I asked. 4, he said. 4, and one of us wounded. As for that boy, I don't know where he is, damn him, he said. And I don't really care. We are tired of him. These were his words. Is that everything? I asked. Well, that's all you are going to hear, my boy, answered Silver. And now I must choose? And now you must choose, and you can be sure of that, said Silver. Well, I said, I am not such a fool. I know quite well what will happen. Let the worst happen, I don't care much. I have seen too many people die since I met you. But there are 1 or 2 things I must tell you, I said, and now I was very excited. First, here you are in a bad situation. You have lost the ship, the treasure, your men, everything is ruined. And if you want to know who did it, it was me. I was in the apple barrel the night we saw land. I heard you, John, and you, Dick Johnson, and Hans, who is now at the bottom of the sea. And I told everything I heard very soon after. And about the ship, it was me who cut the rope. It was me who killed the men on it. And it was me who brought it to a place where you will never see it again, none of you. I am the one who has won. I have been winning from the start. I am not afraid of you at all, no more than I am afraid of a fly. Kill me if you want, or let me live. But I will say one thing. If you let me live, the past is forgotten. And when you are in court for piracy, I will help you as much as I can. It is your choice. Kill me and gain nothing, or let me live and have a witness to help you avoid the gallows. I stopped because I was out of breath, and to my surprise, not one of them moved. They all sat and stared at me like sheep. While they were still staring, I spoke again. And now, Mr. Silver, I said, I think you are the best man here. And if things go very badly, I ask you to tell the doctor how I faced it. I will remember that, said Silver in a strange voice. I could not understand if he was laughing at me or if he respected my courage. I'll add something to that, shouted the old dark-faced sailor. Morgan was his name, whom I had seen in Long John's Inn in Bristol. He was the one who knew Black Dog. Well, listen, added the sea cook. I'll add another thing. This same boy took the map from Billy Bones. In the end, everything went wrong because of Jim Hawkins. Then here I go, said Morgan with a curse. He jumped up and pulled out his knife, as if he were a young man. Stop there, cried Silver. Who do you think you are, Tom Morgan? Maybe you think you are the captain here. I will teach you better. If you go against me, You will end like many men before you in the last 30 years. Some went to the gallows, and some were thrown into the sea, and all became food for fish. No man has ever looked me in the eyes and had a good day after that, Tom Morgan. You can be sure of it." Morgan stopped, but the other men began to speak angrily. "Tom is right," said one. "I have taken orders long enough from one man," said another. "I will be hanged before I take orders from you, John Silver." "Did any of you want to fight with me?" shouted Silver, leaning far forward from the barrel, with his pipe still burning in his right hand. "Say clearly what you want. You are not mute, I think. The man who wants it can have it. Have I lived so many years, and now at the end some foolish man tries to challenge me? You know the way. You all call yourselves gentlemen of fortune. Well, I am ready. Take a sword, anyone who dares, and I will show him his inside before this pipe is empty." No one moved. No one answered. "So that's how you are," he added, putting the pipe back in his mouth. "You look like a fine group, but you are not worth much in a fight. Maybe you understand plain English. I am captain here because you chose me. I am captain because I am the best man here. You will not fight like gentlemen of fortune, so you will obey, and you can be sure of that. I like this boy. I have never seen a better boy. He is more of a man than any two of you here. And I say this, let me see the man who touches him. That is what I say, and you can be sure of it." There was a long silence after this. I stood straight against the wall. My heart was still beating hard, but now I had a small hope. Silver leaned back against the wall, his arms crossed, his pipe in his mouth, as calm as if he were in church. But his eyes moved quietly, watching the others. They slowly moved together toward the far end of the house, and their low whispering sounded in my ears like a stream. One by one they looked up, and the red light of the torch showed their nervous faces for a moment. But they were not looking at me. They were looking at Silver. "You seem to have a lot to say," said Silver, spitting far away. "Speak up so I can hear, or be quiet." "Excuse me, sir," said one of the men. "You are taking some freedoms with the rules. Maybe you should also respect the rest. This crew is not happy. This crew does not like being pushed around. This crew has its rights like any other crew. And by your own rules, we can talk together. I respect you as captain now, but I claim my right and step outside for a meeting." With a formal sailor's salute, this man, tall, ugly, with yellow eyes and about 35 years old, calmly walked to the door and went outside. One after another, the others followed him. Each gave a salute and said something. "According to the rules," said one. "Crew meeting," said Morgan. And so they all went out, leaving Silver and me alone with the torch. The sea cook at once took his pipe out of his mouth. "Now listen, Jim Hawkins," he said in a quiet whisper, just loud enough to hear. "You are very close to death, and even worse, to torture. They are going to turn against me. But remember this, I will stand by you no matter what. I did not plan to, not until you spoke. I was ready to lose my money and be hanged as well. But I see now that you are the right kind of boy. I said to myself, stand by Hawkins, John, and Hawkins will stand by you. You are his last chance, and by heaven, John, he is yours. We stand together. You save your chance to speak, and he will save your life." I slowly began to understand. "You mean everything is lost?" I asked. "Yes, I do," he answered. "The ship is gone, and we will be hanged. That's the truth. When I looked into the bay and saw no ship, Jim Hawkins, even I almost gave up. And those men and their meeting, they are fools and cowards. I will save your life from them if I can. But listen, Jim, one good turn for another. You must save me from the gallows. I was confused. What he asked seemed almost impossible. He was the old pirate leader. I will do what I can, I said. It's a deal, cried Long John. You speak bravely, and now I have a chance. He walked to the torch, where it stood among the firewood, and lit his pipe again. Understand me, Jim, he said as he came back. I am clever. I am on the squire's side now. I know you have put that ship somewhere safe. I don't know how you did it, but it is safe. I think Hans and O'Brien became weak. I never trusted them much. Now listen. I will not ask questions, and I will not let others ask. I know when a game is lost, and I know a loyal boy when I see one. Ah, you are young. If you and I had worked together, we could have done many great things. He poured some brandy from the barrel into a small metal cup. Will you drink, friend? He asked. When I said no, he continued. Well, I will drink a little myself, Jim. I need it, because trouble is coming. And speaking of trouble, why did the doctor give me the map, Jim? My face showed real surprise, and he saw there was no need to ask more questions. Well, he did give it to me, he said. And there must be something behind that. Something important, Jim, whether good or bad. He drank again and shook his big fair head like a man expecting the worst.